Coming up, some interesting statistics on Loyola men's basketball.
Plus, has AJ Lee met his match? Tune in on the Ramble to find out.
I'm Gianna Perez.
And I'm Joe Mangold.
All this and so much more
as Rambler Sports Locker begins now.
Well, we've gotten a glimpse at what a winter looks like in Chicago already. Now, oddly enough, I do love to see a good winter storm when the city is just covered in this white blanket of snow. Those are my thoughts. Joe, how are you feeling about this upcoming winter season?
Yeah, I gotta agree with you on there. I love it when it looks beautiful and calm for once, especially when we get some classes called off. We'll say, though, I hate driving in that weather. It is just so brutal to get that car out of a parking spot just to drive 20 miles under the speed limit.
You know what? I'm going to agree with you on that one, for sure. Now, a look into this week's Loyola Sports. Here's Tashae with the Rambler Rundown.
Thanks, Gianna. Here's what's been happening in Rambler Sports this week. The women's basketball team took on the top-seeded UConn Huskies Wednesday night, falling 85-31. They'll be back in Gentile on Sunday to take on the Maryland Eastern Shore. Men's basketball has been booked and busy. AJ Lee will have more on that later. Women's volleyball pulled off back-to-back wins over the weekend against St. Louis. The Ramblers won 3-1 on Friday and swept on the Billikens on Saturday. They wrapped up their regular season this weekend against George Mason before the A10 Championship Tournament later this month. The cross-country teams are in Oklahoma this weekend for the NCAA Midwest Regional. Good luck to our Ramblers. That's all for this week's rundown. For Rambler Sports Locker, I'm Tashae.
Thanks, Sky. Now AJ Lee with details on our men's basketball team and how they've been doing so far this season.
Another winter, another season of men's Rambler basketball. Loyola, in their first 3 games, has allowed 75 points per game while only scoring 72. If they maintain this pace, they will allow the most points per game to opponents since the 2003-2004 season. I wasn't even alive yet. It's bad. Loyola won their first game of the season against Cleveland State on a near buzzer beater in a game where they were favored by 18 points. After last Thursday's loss to Mercyhurst, the 332nd ranked team according to KenPom, the Ramblers fell to 1-1. Then, in ironic fashion, the Ramblers lost on the first true buzzer beater of the season to North Texas. Loyola is sitting at 1-2 right now with no lack of difficult games on their schedule. My question is, what's wrong? I do not think that this is a point a finger and blame one-person situation, but many small issues are piling up. It's difficult to be a top-tier team when your leading scorer is shooting 36% from the field and your third leading scorer is shooting 37%. It also doesn't help when you've been out-rebounded in every single game so far this season. This, frankly, should not be happening when you play against these smaller programs that you are paying to play. I think a few temporary solutions would involve better shot selection, having a higher priority crashing the boards, and playing some good defense. For Rambler Sports Locker, I'm AJ Lee.
Thanks, AJ. Now Sinead Buckley has a look at how the Jets honored Nick Mangold.
A rare Jets victory is something to celebrate. Something more important than their win over the Browns was celebrated this weekend at MetLife Stadium. On October 25th, former Jets center Nick Mangold passed away at age 41 from a kidney disease. This past Sunday, his legacy was honored at the Jets game against the Cleveland Browns. Jets players and all staff wore black t-shirts with Mangold's face on the front and his former number 74 on the back. Jeremy Ruckert, Jets tight end and former Ohio State Buckeye, like Mangold, showed up wearing Mangold's number 55 Ohio State jersey. Even the fans showed up wearing Mangold's jerseys to show the love. At the game, Mangold's wife and 4 children were on the field and served as honorary captains for the coin toss. Widely recognized as one of the best centers of his generation, Mangold was a 7-time Pro Bowler, a 2-time first-team All-Pro, and was known as the quarterback of the offensive line during his time with Jets. Mangold was known as a great guy on and off the field, from playing Santa Claus during Jets holiday events for children to coaching a local high school football team. Mangold certainly left his mark. It's been a rough season for the Jets in more ways than just one. Mangold's death was a huge loss to the franchise and fans alike, but his legacy will live on at MetLife Stadium for many generations to come. For Rambler Sports Locker, I'm Sinead Buckley.
Thanks, Sinead. Such a tragedy for not only the Jets, but for the NFL community as well. Well, for the second time this semester, I'm not hosting the Ramble. But the long-awaited matchup is here as I finally take on the one guest that no one wants to compete against because he's won so many times. Take it away, Kirstan.
Thanks, Joe. And hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Ramble. I'm Kirstan Richardson, and I will be your host today because, like you heard, Joe wants to see if he can beat AJ Lee. What do you guys think? Can he do it?
I mean, taking on the rookie's going to be interesting. I will say that.
AJ, how do you feel?
I think my performance will speak for itself.
All right. Well, we'll see. A few weeks ago, we talked about early NFL award predictions. Well, some time has passed, and things are starting to change. Top contenders of the awards are either getting hurt or failing to reach the public's expectations. On the other side, you see players that you wouldn't expect excelling in the league. So with that, it's time to revisit this topic and lock in our predictions. Are you guys ready?
Absolutely.
All right, first, who do you think is going to win Offensive Player of the Year? Joe, let's start with you.
All right, well, I think this one is a bit obvious. It is going to be Jackson Smith and Jigba, the wide receiver for the Seattle Seahawks, who have already over 1,000 yards and 5 touchdowns. Now you'd think, okay, well, over 1,000 yards isn't a big deal. He's the first receiver to do it and the only one to do it in this short of a time this season. Along with that, he has 46% of Sam Darnold's passing yards. Sam Darnold has over 2,000 yards, and who's got the most of it? Jackson Smith.
Very, very impressive. No, I've been watching him lately, and he's been surprising me a lot.
Oh, yeah.
AJ, what do you think?
I'm going to go with Jonathan Taylor. I think it's really hard to not say that he's going to win it. He scored 17 touchdowns already. That's more than the Jets, the Browns, Titans, the Raiders. He's on pace for 29 touchdowns, and if you're not that keen on NFL history, the record is 32. So 3 off from the record. It's pretty good. To kind of trash on Jackson Smith and Jigba a little bit, the Seattle Seahawks wide receiver room is so good. They have to guard Cooper Kupp, who, 2021 Offensive Player of the Year. Torrey Horton's been amazing. Cody White's looked good. A.J. Barner's been good. The thing is, with the run, it's just him, and they know it's coming, and they can't stop him. Jackson Smith and Jigba's played great, but it's Jonathan Taylor's award to lose.
Ooh, good picks, good picks. I'm going to have to agree with AJ on this one. Listen, Jonathan Taylor has been making a lot of moves, and not only that, the Colts is a team that I was surprised that they were doing well. I think you guys can agree with that point.
Oh, yeah.
So, point to AJ. Next, who do you think is going to win Defensive Player of the Year? AJ?
Plain and simple, Myles Garrett. I mean, this man had 5 sacks against a top 5 offensive line in the Patriots and one of the best left tackles in Will Campbell. Love him, but let up 5 sacks. He's currently tied for first with 11 sacks.
Yes.
Tied for first. And he is leading, one of the best defenses in the NFL. The Browns' defense is top 3 in rush yards allowed per game, so it's mostly because of him. I'm gonna leave it there for that, but I do have a rebuttal for you. So.
All right.
Joe?
So first of all, you say tied for first. You know who he's tied with?
I do.
Linebacker Brian Burns, who's got 11 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, and 47 total tackles, with 31 of those being solo tackles. I mean, Burns has led this Giants defense to a whole other field. Yeah, you could argue, they got Dexter Lawrence and they've got Abdul Carter. Abdul Carter's been abysmal as a rookie, let's face it. Dexter Lawrence is the only other part of that defense that's good, but Brian Burns is taking them to a whole other level. And I will say, not to cut you off on your rebuttal, Myles Garrett needed those 5 sacks to catch up to Brian Burns. A little bit of those sacks were kind of lucky for him, I will say that much. Yes, he's a great pass rusher, but to need 5 sacks to catch up to a linebacker in sacks, that shows how well Myles Garrett really is doing this season.
Quick rebuttal?
Yeah, quick rebuttal. I'm just going to point out that, Myles Garrett's amazing. Brian Burns, the Giants' defense has so many other guys that they have to pay attention to that the offensive lines have to block for. Not really with the Browns, so that's their one focus. That's who they're scouting. So,
for having one of the better rookie D tackles in the league right now, on the Browns, it's a little bit hard to say that the Browns defense doesn't have anyone else to watch out for other than Myles Garrett, but
All right.
Leave it at that.
Great picks again. And as much as I love Myles Garrett, okay, he's one of my favorite defensive players. I'm going to give it to Joe on this one, okay? I've been watching Brian Burns for a minute now, and I've been pretty impressed with his sacks. I think it's going to be a pretty impressive fight to who has the most sacks in the league. And finally, the award that brings the fans together who do you think will win MVP?
I'm going to be honest, Matthew Stafford. Now, people are going to think Matthew Stafford, well, it's because he has Puka Nacua. No, Puka's been injured for a good amount of time, and one of the main games where Puka was hurt, Stafford had 5 touchdown passes. Stafford has 2,400 passing yards, 25 passing touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. The only other player with 2 interceptions, Baker Mayfield. Everyone else has barely started. And to top it all off, 25 touchdowns leading the league. The only person he's ahead of or that's close to him, Jared Goff with 20, and Drake May and a few others with 19. But other than that, no one's contending with Matthew Stafford right now in terms of that.
He's been making a lot of moves, so I can't disagree with you on that one.
Absolutely.
AJ?
My question is, what is value? What does the most valuable player mean? Are you going to say it's, the player who's doing best in the best system? Or are you going to say it's the player who's turned the 3-9 Patriots last year in his 12 starts to the 8-2 Patriots in his 10 starts this year, Drake May? Drake May has been out of this world. I've talked about him a few episodes ago. Highest percentage passing in a game since ever for the Patriots quarterback, better than Tom Brady.
Yes.
This is a guy who is not surrounded by this star talent that they have out in Los Angeles. I mean, Puka Nacua got hurt. Who did he throw 3 of those touchdowns to? Devontae Adams, one of the best wide receivers of our generation. I think that Drake May has completely transformed the culture. I think that he's been amazing, and I think he's turned this team around. They didn't really sign anyone in free agency. He has turned them into a contender. They're going to win 12, 13 games. That's your MVP. He's been the most valuable.
All right, can I make a rebuttal?
Very quick.
I will say, number 1, it's Devontae, but he's 30 years old. Let's keep that in mind. Number 2, just to add on, you did say the Patriots are the best O-line, so he's being carried by a bit of his O-line and a weak schedule. By far, one of the weakest in the league right now.
Okay. For the MVP point, and I'm going to be kind of honest, I don't like the fact that the NFL MVP award is always quarterbacks. I'm just going to put that out there. I like Matthew Stafford. He's been very consistent, I will say. But I'm going to go to AJ on this one and say Drake May.
You cannot be defeated.
Fellas, thank you guys so much for playing. Yes, shake on
Pleasure.
it. Yep.
Pleasure.
Another round of applause for this matchup. Yes. Let's hope that you guys' predictions will be right. Hopefully, fingers crossed. And now, let's pass this back to our anchors.
Thanks, everyone. Great conversations today. That wraps up this week's episode of Rambler Sports Locker. To stay up to date on all things Rambler Sports, be sure to follow us on X, TikTok, and Instagram at Loyola RSL and subscribe to our YouTube channel. From all of us here at Rambler Sports Locker, I'm Gianna Perez. We'll see you next week, and don't forget to turn off the lights.